welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha Television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor, and in the next half an hour I'll be bringing to you the biggest news stories from India and across the world, starting with the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi promises long-term gains from demonetisation, says he will not shy away from taking difficult decisions in the interest of the country. Prime Minister lays the foundation stone of the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Memorial off Mumbai coast, addresses public rally after flagging off 2 metro rail projects and the Mumbai Trans Harbour Link. Blow for Israel at the United Nations Security Council. Resolution passed demanding an end to Israeli settlement building on occupied Palestinian territory. And Syrian civilians enter Ansri and Zibdiah neighbourhoods in eastern Aleppo for the first time in 5 years. Army says it has brought security and safety back to the city. Now, top story this Saturday evening. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today inaugurated the new campus of the National Institute of Securities Markets run by the Stock Markets Regulator, Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is the SEBI, at Panvel in Mumbai. Well, Prime Minister Modi said that India enjoyed a good name for its well-regulated securities market and underscored the need for the participants to be well informed. Well, in the wake of the demonetisation decision, he also said that the government will not shy away from taking tough decisions.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi once again promised long-term gain of demonetisation. Almost after 46 days, his government abolished high-value bank notes to flush out unaccounted money in the economy. Modi also said he will not shy away from taking difficult decisions in the interest of the country.
We will not shy away from taking difficult decisions if those decisions are in the interest of the country. Demonetisation is an example. It is a short-term pain, but will bring long-term gain.
Speaking at an event in Mumbai, the Prime Minister said his government will also undertake other reform measures to make India a developed country within a generation.
My aim is to make India a developed country in one generation. India cannot become a developed country without world-class securities and commodity markets. Therefore, I look forward to a growing contribution from all of you in making the financial market more relevant to this new era.
Modi later addressed a public function at the Mumbai Metropolitan Region Development Authority ground in suburban Bandra, where he laid the foundation stone for 2 metro rail projects, elevated rail corridors project and Mumbai Trans Harbour Link.
सम्मान से जीने के लिए विकास ही एक मार्ग होता है और इसलिए भाइयों बहनों, जब से आपने हमें दायित्व दिया है, हमने विकास को ही केंद्र बिंदु में रखा है। और जब हम विकास को केंद्र बिंदु में रखा है, तब हमारे मन में साफ है कि विकास वो हो जो सस्टेनेबल हो, विकास वो हो जो गरीबों को अपनी जिंदगी में बदलाव लाने का मौका देता हो.
Also on his agenda is laying the foundation stone of the Pune Metro Rail project at the Agricultural College ground in the city. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, amidst a lot of criticisms and allegations of BJP hijacking the event, well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi performed a symbolic puja for the proposed memorial of Chhatrapati Shivaji. Well, besides the Jal Pujan, the other highlight of the occasion was the hovercraft that the Prime Minister boarded to get to the spot in the Arabian Sea.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi travelled in an Indian Coast Guard hovercraft to perform a symbolic Jal Puja for the proposed 3,600 crore rupee memorial of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. The Shiv Smarak is coming up in the Arabian Sea, around 1.5 kilometers from the Mumbai shoreline opposite Marine Drive. Descendants of the Maratha warrior Udayanraje Bhosle and Sambhaji Raje Bhosle were also present on the occasion. The massive scale of the ceremony, however, invited a lot of criticism from the opposition.
सवाल बहुत सारे खड़े हो रहे हैं. क्या इसका डिजाइन फाइनल हुआ है? क्या टेंडर डॉक्यूमेंट बनाए गए? क्या टेंडर फ्लोट किया गया? बजटरी प्रोविजन किया गया? सारी परिस्थितियां देखते हुए ये लगता है कि कहीं न कहीं आगामी चुनाव जो महाराष्ट्र में 26 जिला परिषद के होने वाले हैं, 10 महानगर पालिका के होने वाले हैं, ये सभी चुनावों को प्रभावित करने के लिए आज का ये कार्यक्रम रखा गया है.
ये शिवाजी का स्मृति स्थान बनना चाहिए. ये तो कांग्रेस की नीति थी. कांग्रेस ने वो प्लान सारा बनाया था. उसका श्रेय ये लोग क्यों काय के लिए लेते हैं मुझे मालूम नहीं. अभी तक वो जो कर रहे हैं वो कांग्रेस ने किए हुए जो बातें हैं वही दोहरा रहे हैं. दूसरी बात कोई नहीं है.
The Shiv Sena too appeared unhappy with its ally, alleging that it had hijacked the occasion to take political mileage.
किसी एक पार्टी का ये श्रेय नहीं है और खास करके सत्ताधारी पार्टी बीजेपी हो या जब कांग्रेस एनसीपी थी तब भी ये श्रेयवाद का मुद्दा हमेशा ही उठता आया है किसी भी प्रकल्प के बारे में. मगर जिन मित्र पक्षों ने आपको साथ दिया है उन मित्र पक्षों, चाहे वो राजू शेट्टी जी की पार्टी हो, विनायक मेटे जी की हो, तो इन सभी को आप इस प्रकार से उनको नजरअंदाज नहीं कर सकते.
The proposed statue will be 192 meters tall, showing a triumphant Maratha king riding a horse. The statue will be surrounded by an art museum, an amphitheatre, auditorium, exhibition gallery and other facilities. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi today continued his tirade against Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the issue of demonetisation. He again accused the government of punishing the honest with a note ban. Now, while addressing a public rally at Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh, Rahul Gandhi said that the note ban was a step against the poor, farmers and the middle class. Rahul also added that the Prime Minister has deliberately hurt horticulture, agriculture and the tourism sectors of Himachal Pradesh by imposing demonetisation.
सोने में और बड़ी बड़ी इमारतों में, जमीन में है. अब मुझे पता नहीं क्यों नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 94% काले धन पर निशाना नहीं लगाया. 1% अमीर लोगों पे निशाना नहीं लगाया. 6% टैक्स पे, काले धन पे निशाना लगाया. 99% लोगों पे निशाना लगाया. मोदी जी को यह बात मालूम है स्विस बैंक अकाउंट में.
On to some other news now. Well, the Ministry of External Affairs on Friday announced new rules for the application of passport. Well, the MEA has decided to accept Aadhaar and e-Aadhaar cards as a proof of birth while applying for passports. Earlier, all the applicants had to mandatorily submit their birth certificates as proof of date of birth. The MEA also introduced policy changes for single parents and divorced applicants. The passport application form will now require the applicant to provide the name of father or mother or legal guardian. Well, the form no longer requires the applicant to provide the name of spouse in case of separated or divorced persons. Now, sadhus have been allowed to fill out their passport forms with the names of their spiritual gurus instead of parents. In case of orphan children who do not have any proof of date of birth, such as birth certificate or the matriculation certificate, now they can submit a declaration given by the head of orphanage or child care home on their official letter, head of organization, confirming the same.
आज की परिस्थितियों में लोगों को जिस चीज के लिए दिक्कत आती थी, समस्या आती थी, उनको कठिनाई होती थी फॉर्म के अंदर या पासपोर्ट पाने में, वो आसान होती थी.
And what else happened in the country in the day today? Let's take a look in nationwide. A team of BJP leaders visited Dhulagarh in Havra district on Saturday after communal tension flared in the area last week. Members of the team plan to meet affected people and prepare a report for the centre. However, it was stopped by West Bengal police from entering the violence-hit area, after which it staged a road blockade, accusing the Mamata Banerjee government of pursuing appeasement politics. A Delhi court granted bail to Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in a case of allegedly giving false information in an affidavit filed in the run-up to 2013 assembly polls. The magistrate granted relief for Kejriwal, who appeared in court in pursuance to its direction on a personal bond of 10,000 rupees, and posted the matter for next hearing on 7th of April 2017. Residents of Manipur rushed to markets to get essential commodities on Saturday as curfew was relaxed in parts of Imphal. The city has been reeling under an economic blockade imposed by United Naga Council for last more than 50 days. While state government began lifting curfew in parts of the city for a brief period, but the blockade of 2 lifeline highways has choked the supply of essential commodities, resulting in surge in prices. Now fuel prices have also shot up. Continuous shutdown against the killing of Burhan Wani has disrupted normal life in Kashmir Valley. Separatists have, however, asked people to observe the shutdown only on Fridays and Saturdays for the next 2 weeks. The scaling down came amid mounting pressure from traders and transporters whose livelihood has been badly hit by the prolonged shutdown. Security personnel, however, continue to maintain vigil in the city. News tonight will take a very short break. We have more news on the other side. Stay with us.
Biology happening at almost every scale on this campus, from the molecular scale to the scale of the study of ecosystems. Been involved in discovering mechanisms that are fundamental to all cells that are creating these endocytic processes. If you think about castes as interbreeding communities, small interbreeding communities, one can just see the consequences of consanguinity that castes would inevitably bring.
Watch Eureka with Professor Satyajit Meyer, Director NCBS Bengaluru on Rajya Sabha Television.
One of the most influential revolutionaries of Indian freedom struggle, Shaheed Bhagat Singh. Born into a Sikh family, patriotism flowed in his blood at the age of 13. When he formed Naujawan Bharat Sabha to spread the message of revolution in Punjab. In the wake of avenging Lala Lajpat Rai's death, Bhagat Singh and his associates coined the catchphrase Inqilab Zindabad. But towards the end of their rebellion, they had to pay a heavy price for their patriotism. Following the blasts inside the corridors of the assembly, both Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt courted arrest. Bhagat Singh was sent to the gallows in Lahore with his fellow comrades, after which he was cremated in Hussainiwala, banks of Satluj.
Welcome back after the break. On to our top international focus. Well, Israel today refused to abide by a UNSC vote that calls an end to settlement activity on Palestinian occupied land. Well, the resolution was passed after the United States refused to veto it, breaking the long-standing American practice of sheltering Israel from condemnatory resolutions. Meanwhile, the resolution exacerbated the divisions between the outgoing Obama administration and incoming Trump administration. In a blow for Israel, the United Nations Security Council on Friday passed a resolution demanding an end to Israeli settlement building on occupied Palestinian territory. The resolution was originally put forward by Egypt, but it was withdrawn under pressure from the Israelis. But on Friday, 4 countries, New Zealand, Venezuela, Malaysia and Senegal, brought it up again for a vote. The resolution was passed with all but one vote.
13 votos a favor, una abstención. Queda aprobado el proyecto de resolución como resolución 2334.
Significantly, the US abstained, refusing to block the resolution with a veto, defying extraordinary pressure from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government. About 5 lakh Jews live in settlements built since Israel's 1967 occupation of the West Bank and East Jerusalem. The issue is one of the most contentious between Israel and Palestine.
This forum too often continues to be biased against Israel because there are important issues that are not sufficiently addressed in this resolution, and because the United States does not agree with every word in this text, that the United States did not vote in favor of the resolution. But it is because this resolution reflects the facts on the ground and is consistent with U.S. policy across Republican and Democratic administrations throughout the history of the State of Israel that the United States did not veto it.
Who gave you the right to issue such a decree, denying our eternal rights in Jerusalem? Would this council have had the nerve to condemn your country for building homes in your capital?
Council has finally chosen to act is significant after years of paralysis, as is the fact that this resolution has been adopted with majority support, overwhelming majority support. But this step requires vigilant follow-up if it is to be meaningful, to stem further deterioration and salvage the two-state solution.
However, the UN vote also highlighted differences between Obama administration and his successor Donald Trump. Ahead of the vote, Trump had, in a tweet, called on the Obama administration to wield its Security Council veto. After the vote, Netanyahu's office accused the Obama administration of colluding with the United Nations and said it looked forward to working with Trump. Meanwhile, Trump also tweeted after the vote, "As to the UN, things will be different after 20th of January. This is the date when he takes office." The US and most other nations consider Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem as an obstacle to the hopes of a two-state solution between Israelis and Palestinians. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Meanwhile, in some good news for India, US President Barack Obama has signed into law the National Defence Authorization Act 2017, which enhances security cooperation with India. The Act 2017 that entails the steps needed to recognize India as a major defence partner of US. In fact, it also reportedly sanctioned a $618 billion defense budget for 2017. Well, this move, which enhances security cooperation between the two countries, also conditions nearly half of the funding to Pakistan on a certification that it is taking steps against Haqqani network. Now, a summary of the bill released by the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator John McCain, said that the act enhances security cooperation between the US and India. News from the Middle East now. Well, after the full evacuation of rebels, the Syrians returned to the heavily damaged neighbourhoods in eastern Aleppo for the first time in 5 years. The Syrian army had retaken Aleppo completely and brought safety back to the city as the last group of rebel fighters were evacuated on Thursday. The final phase of the evacuation ended when a convoy carrying nearly 150 people departed towards held areas outside the city. Now, under a deal brokered by Turkey and Russia, convoys of buses and cars have shuttled hundreds of civilians and fighters out of Aleppo's last rebel-held pocket towards opposition areas outside the city since late last week. Now, obstructions were removed along various roads in Aleppo after the city welcomed a substantial victory for the anti-terrorism front. The Syrian government has begun the process of now clearing up explosives and debris in the last few areas that were previously controlled by the militants. Well, after removing the obstructions on the roads, well, Syria plans to start its journey of rebuilding Aleppo.
5 سنوات صرنا ما جينا هلا جينا الاوضاع والله الحمد لله الله يحيي الجيش 5 سنين ما دخلنا على الحاره فرحتنا كبيره الحمد لله بعد ما حرر الجيش العربي السوري داخلين نشوف بيوتنا الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين
الحمد لله فرحه لا توصف الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Well, another very short break here. Up next, we have more international news and sports news. Don't go away.
Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. You're watching Constitutionally Yours.
I will use the shield of faith to promote cow slaughter.
The states have continuously failed to implement the ban on cow slaughter.
Other section of the society, they are beef eaters.
How are we the biggest exporter in beef?
India is the largest country in export of beef.
Join us as we try to understand contemporary issues related to the Constitution. Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha Television. Homai Vyarawala, better known by her pseudonym Dalda 13, was India's first woman photojournalist. Vyarawala entered the field of photojournalism in the late 1930s. For nearly 30 years till she retired in the early 1970s, at the peak of her career, she made a massive impact. Vyarawala clicked some iconic pictures of political and national leaders. Gandhiji, Nehru, Jinnah, Indira Gandhi have been subjects of her vast photographic collection. Prime Minister Nehru, she says, was her favorite. In 2011, Homai Vyarawala was conferred the Padma Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award.
Welcome back after the break. Let's now take a look at some more international news in Global Buzz. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Russia was willing to continue enhancing ties with China, both within economic cooperation and international issues. Putin also said both the nations held similar stances on some key issues, which helped maintain the world's stability. The Russian president congratulated China on its currency inclusion in the International Monetary Fund's special drawing right basket. The German police yesterday arrested 2 men suspected of planning an attack on a shopping mall in the West German state of North Rhine-Westphalia. The suspects, 2 brothers aged 28 and 31 who were born in Kosovo, were arrested after information provided by the security sources. A lorry attack, remember, in a Berlin Christmas market had earlier killed 12 people on Monday. The FBI, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation, has issued a warning to the local law enforcement authorities in the United States over a possible Islamic State group attack at Christmas gatherings. There have been no specific alert issued by the pro-Islamic State group, but it has in fact published a list of churches across the United States on its websites, while the FBI also asked the citizens to be aware of their surroundings and report any suspicious activity. The United Nations Security Council, or the UNSC, on Friday failed to adopt a US-drafted resolution to impose an arms embargo and further sanctions on South Sudan. UN officials warned of a possible genocide in the world's newest state. There were 7 votes in favour and 8 abstentions. The resolution needs 9 votes in favour and no vetoes by the 5 UNSC members in order to be adopted. Time now for all the sporting action. Here is the sports beat. India defeated hosts Sri Lanka by 34 runs on Friday to lift the Asian Cricket Council Under-19 Asia Cup title. While opting to bat first, India posted a competitive 273 for 8 in their allotted 50 overs and then rode on its spinners a fine bowling effort to bowl out Sri Lanka under to 239 in 48.4 overs in Colombo last night. AC Milan defeated arch rivals Juventus via penalties to win the Italian Super Cup in Doha on Friday, their first such title since 2011. AC Milan won the game 4-3 on penalties after a hard-fought match that was logged at 1-1 after the regulation time, while Mario Mandzukic and Paulo Dybala missed their spot kicks for Juventus. Argentine tennis star Juan Martin Del Potro and American Madison Keys have withdrawn from their respective singles event in the 2017 Australian Open. Well, due to ongoing issues have forced both the players to pull out of this year's first major. Now Keys, who finished 2016 ranked 8th in the world, will also miss the tournament after a minor wrist surgery. Crystal Palace have appointed former England boss Sam Allardyce as manager on a 2.5 years deal a day after sacking Alan Pardew. Pardew was sacked on Thursday with the club 17th in the Premier League after a run of one win in 11 games. Allardyce has been out of work since losing the England job after 67 days in the wake of a newspaper sting. Well, that's all in this edition of news. Thanks for watching. Good night and have a great weekend.